Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family, and today I'll be talking about Harry and Meghan mostly at the ribbon cutting ceremony for the military, but I'll just do a bit of a catch up with a few other things first. Meghan didn't show up in court regarding the case whereby her sister Samantha was suing her. However, Samantha is launching a new case whereby she hopes to secure a trial against her sister. The original case was dismissed, and now I just have a feeling that this one won't get too far either. And in the meantime, Meghan's apparently supposed to be still friends with Jessica Mulroney on the quiet. I don't believe she is. I think she cut her off completely. But she has allegedly been seen with her publicly having a meal in a restaurant, and it's implied that they're meeting up on the quiet. I think she truly cut her off, and I think Jessica would have more sense. I don't know. Meghan had to appear to cut her off because obviously image is everything, and since then Jessica has made subtle comments on social media and various things implying that she has detached herself from Meghan. So I doubt that this rumour of them being together is true. At the recording of this video, the King is in Korea, Prince William and Catherine are supporting the army, Sophie is in Canada. So it seems inevitable that Harry and Meghan would be wearing red poppies while at an event in San Diego visiting Navy SEALs. Meghan, of course, standing well in front of Harry. Harry has written an emotional letter, apparently, on the grief of losing a parent. This is for Remembrance Sunday. This is because he doesn't have anything else to write about. He has no brave acts of heroism during his time in the military that he can refer to, nor any severe losses. So he resorts to his comfort blanket, which is talking about his mother, which I agree is a terrible loss, but it's all he talks about. He needs to just talk about experience in the military. We all know it was just playing computer games, but most of it. One question is this: how does a former TV cable actress and a guy who was playing video games whilst basically wrapped in cotton wool during his British deployment manage to be centre stage at the United States SEALs ribbon cutting ceremony? This visit was supposed to be an under-the-radar visit to Camp Pendleton in San Diego. Why do they always have to have secret and undercover visits and surprise visits? This headline is quite amusing because it says, and I quote, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle both wore poppies as they visited the United States Navy SEALs in San Diego last night and watched as someone else cut the ribbon on the new fitness centre for veterans. So it seems that this one and his wife are eventually going to be known as this one and that one. They both make sure that they were in the news on the very day that his father opens Parliament, which was the first time that a king had opened Parliament since 1950. It has been said that they've intentionally drawn attention away from Charles and Camilla's recent trip to Kenya. It certainly does look that way. Watching the video of Harry and Meghan attending the ribbon cutting ceremony was quite interesting. I'll play it here in sections, and the first thing that I noticed was Meghan grinning broadly as they come through the doorway, followed by Harry looking completely the opposite. And he's got his thumb inside his jacket, which is his usual default position for his hands, and he's actually looking nervous, I think, and quite stressed in his eyes. Harry smiles briefly at the man greeting them at the door and proceeded to walk behind Meghan, who had shot so far ahead, and he looks down and he looks around behind himself and says something which, and I'm not a lip reader, but I can only see it as him saying something like mama, but maybe I'm wrong. Then we see him with this bald-headed guy who's chatting to him and seems to be, I don't know, telling him what to do maybe, or what is expected of him, briefly telling him why he's there, where he is, and what he's supposed to be doing, which is basically nothing. Maybe he was telling them that even though they're there and they're important, they're not allowed to cut the ribbon, that it's someone else who's doing that. Harry's listening intently, and then Meghan, who obviously realises that there's something going on and being talked about, realising she's not in control of, and then she puts her hand up to Harry appears to be going to drag him away from the man, but it's obviously a signal, as if to say, come on, you're supposed to be with me. So she takes a couple of steps forward and then looks back at Harry, smiling at the woman opposite her. Harry dutifully walks over and stands behind his wife because he knows his place and she has to be in front. The woman who is doing the ribbon cutting, who's named Robin, says that she cannot see anything. This is obviously because Meghan is in the way, as she pushed herself near the front, even further from anyone. She's more in front of everyone who appear to be standing in some sort of line. And then, after this woman says she cannot see anything, Harry says sorry. Can you believe this? Harry apologises. So what is he sorry for? Sorry that his wife is the most rude person ever to be blocking the ribbon cutter's view because she's pushed herself right in the front again? Meghan acknowledges the guy who had been talking to Harry, who doesn't really say anything to Meghan, barely looks at her, and then Meghan sort of leans back and grins at Harry as if she said some sort of joke, and then swings around to look at the man again, who turns his head totally away from Meghan and then speaks into the mic and thanks everybody for joining them that evening as they celebrate the grand opening of the Warrior Fitness Programme facility. He talks about being very proud of the facility opening up and explains how it joins a sister facility, which has been in operation in Norfolk, Virginia. He refers to it as being a centre of concentration for naval special warfare. My thoughts at that point were, what on earth are Harry and Meghan doing there? And they are looking almost as if Meghan thinks she belongs there, standing out in the front, and Harry is looking quite uncomfortable and depressed. The man goes on to say that with the opening of the facility, he thinks that they'll be able to reach 80 to 90% of this naval special warfare population, and more importantly, the veterans. Whether that word veterans triggered Harry or not, but he reacted then by looking down, closing his eyes as if he didn't want to be hearing that, and looking to the side. It looks to me as if he regrets massively losing his military roles and titles. The man goes on to say how they were joined today with special guests, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. As he finished the word veterans, Meghan had turned her head back towards Harry and said something in agreement with a sort of a nod and a smile, so she's acting as though she's totally involved and supportive, whereas Harry is a couple of feet behind her, looking like he just wishes he could be somewhere else and quite stressed. As she turns back around, she has the most smug look on her face, eyes closed, nodding, and quite a smug smile almost reaching ear to ear. He then thanks them for joining them for the evening and applauds them for some reason, and then goes on to ask the Navy SEAL Foundation Chief Executive Officer, Robin King, to cut the ribbon. Harry and Meghan turn to face Robin, and Meghan waves her hand as if she's saying, go on, cut it. And she actually says something. So maybe she's saying go on. And it did look as if she was itching to take the scissors and cut it herself. In fact, her hands seemed to be reaching for the scissors. She raised them up as if she was going to grab the scissors, and then made it look as if she was signalling the woman to just carry on. And then Meghan turned to look at the guy, smiling, as if she was saying, didn't she do well? The woman, Robin, was left wondering what to do with these huge gold scissors, chatted a bit to Harry and Meghan, and then Meghan asks if they're coming in, gives a quick wave, and off they go. I thought it was quite bizarre that they were there, let alone being introduced and applauded, and Meghan standing out in front like that, in front of everyone, blocking the ribbon cutter's view, as if she was the most important person there. And even hearing the woman say that she couldn't see anything, she didn't move. And it was left for Harry, who was his usual 10 paces behind Meghan, apologising. So let me have your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.